July 21st, 2010, an indie game called Limbo was released to the world to critical acclaim, earning high scores across the board for its narrative, puzzle platforming gameplay, and art direction. That same year, the developers were already working on their second project, entitled, Project 2, which is now known today as the video game Inside. So, was this spiritual successor just as good, if not better, than its last game? Well, that's why you clicked on this video to find out. So without further ado, I'd like to present to you my first ever video game review on the video game Inside. Let's begin. Inside is the second game created by the independent video game developer Playdead Studios. It is a side-scrolling puzzle platformer that has a few stealth elements, but is mainly about the puzzles, which I'm going to get into later. You play as a little boy that is trying to rescue someone or something from a research facility. Just who or what is it exactly? Well, I'm not going to tell you. Guess you're just going to have to play the game. But there are many perilous obstacles along the way as he gets closer and closer to his objective. Now onto the plot structure. It's super linear and only moves one way, to the right. It also relies heavily on using visual elements in the background to not only give you some plot, but also to establish the setting as well. Places such as a slaughterhouse that was ravaged by a devastating parasite as evidenced by the worms. Or a neglected testing facility that tells us that some experimenting was going on, and some of them still do. Which, by the way, is shown to you in a monochrome, minimalist, and slightly desaturized look. And this choice of aesthetic goes with the setting perfectly. It gives off a dark and depressing feel throughout the entire game. The only complaint I have with the story as a whole is the ending. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. Well, now anyway. I just think that the ending is just too open-ended for my taste and it really doesn't give me any closure at all. What sucks because I spent a good 2 or 3 hours on this game, and to have it just end like that, you have no choice but to just sit back in your chair and say, really? That's it? That's how it's gonna end? But that's just me. Well, I think I covered everything. I don't think there's anything else to talk about. So why I feel like I'm forgetting something? Oh, that's right. How can I forget? It's so obvious. How can I talk about this game without talking about its core gameplay? Them puzzles. Which are some of the best puzzles I've ever seen in a game. None of the puzzles are too challenging per se, but it requires you to really use your deductive reasoning skills and keen eyesight in order for you to solve them. Because the solution is usually right there in front of your face, and if you're not paying attention to your surroundings, then you will be stuck there until you can solve it. Now, failing to find a solution to some puzzles just starts player progression, but as for the puzzles that put you in a life or death situation, if you cannot figure out a certain pattern or not thinking on the fly in a short amount of time, or just making careless mistakes, then you will die a lot, and I mean a lot, especially on your first playthrough. And man, are these deaths brutal. Playdead did not hold back on the many gruesome ways that your character can die. Some examples include getting tackled and having your jugular ripped off by a group of dogs, and then they proceed to gnaw on your corpse. Well, at least they had the common courtesy of ripping my throat out first before they start eating up my body. Some pretty nice dogs. Some other examples include missing a jump then falling 30+ feet to your death. Man, that is a depressing image. The most gruesome death of them all is turning into mincemeat after getting hit with a shockwave. I mean, look at this. Getting torn to shreds like that. Now that is just a terrible way to die. I mean, Jesus Christ. Now I see why he likes to wear that red shirt. Must be a big Star Trek fan. Okay, now that was just pure stupidity. And these deaths wouldn't even be all that bad if I just knew what the hell I was supposed to do half the time. At least then I know I died because I done goofed. And while you're busy trying not to break your controller or keyboard after dying 5 times in a row in the same puzzle, you can try to find the different collectibles in the game in the form of these weird looking pods that you have to deactivate. Some of them are really easy to find if you spot their telltale yellow wire, but some of them are way off the beaten path and require you to really explore every single inch of the environment to find them. There are 12 in total, and if you find them all, you will be able to unlock the game's secret ending. One last thing before I wrap this up. I just love the attention to detail that the game developers put into their game. From little things like leaving a trail every time you exit the water and leaving footprints, having the shadows move depending on where the light is facing the obstruction, the almost lifelike particle effects, even to the way that the character leaves a trail of bubbles every time the boy enters the water either right side up or upside down. Adding little details like that can go a long way in terms of a game's immersion and feel. So in conclusion, this is an amazing game and is worth every penny of its $20 price tag. It has an intriguing story, solid gameplay, and puzzles that are actually pretty rewarding once you solve them. And it has a lot of replay value. And because the whole game is only 2 to 3 hours long, if you don't like it, you could always get a full refund on Steam, I believe. So if you're a fan of puzzle platformers with an interesting story and have the budget of a student on financial aid, then this would be the perfect game for you. How's it going, internet? If you made it to the end of this review, then that means you must have liked it, right? So go on ahead and leave a like on this video, and if you want to see more game reviews like this, then subscribe so you know when a new video is uploaded to your feed, or sub box. Hit me up on my social media so you'll always know what is going on with my channel. And last but not least, share this video with all your friends. This is probably the #1 way that a channel can grow. I'll see you all soon when I take a closer look into the lore of Inside to see if I can finally see what the story is really about. See you then.